Life has this funny way of testing us, doesn't it? One day, everything's going great, and the next, it feels like the world's crashing down. But here's the thing, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And you're tougher than you think. Let me share a little secret with you. It's not about avoiding the storm, it's about learning to dance in the rain. When life gets hard, the first thing you need to do is shift your focus. Stop staring at the problem and start looking for the lesson. Every challenge is here to teach you something: patience, resilience, or maybe even how to let go of what you can't control. Now, here's a game changer: your mindset. Think of your mind like a garden. If you plant seeds of doubt, fear, and negativity, that's exactly what will grow. But if you plant seeds of hope, courage, and determination, you'll see a completely different harvest. So, when things get tough, ask yourself this: what's one thing I can do right now to move forward? It does have to be big. Even a tiny step counts. And let's talk about self-talk. The way you speak to yourself matters more than you realize. If you keep saying, "I can do this," guess what? You won't. But if you say, "This is hard, but you'll figure it out," you're already halfway there. Your words have power. Use them wisely. Another key: surround yourself with positivity. And not just talking about people, those supportive friends and family are gold. And talking about what you watch, what you read, and what you listen to. Fill your mind with stories of hope, success, and perseverance. It's like fuel for your soul when the road gets rough. And finally, remember this: tough times are temporary. They might feel endless, but they are not. Every storm runs out of rain. Every night turns into day. And every challenge you face is shaping you into the person you're meant to be. So stand tall. Keep going. And don't you dare give up. Because here's the truth: you're stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more capable than you realize. And no matter how tough things get, you've got what it takes to rise above it. Now, let's dig a little deeper. When life throws you a curveball, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. But here's the thing: overwhelm is just a signal that you're focusing on too much at once. Break it down. Take one step at a time. You don't have to solve everything in a day. Just focus on what's right in front of you. And don't forget to breathe. Seriously, take a deep breath. When you're stressed, your body goes into fight or flight mode. But deep breathing tells your brain, "Hey, it's okay, we've got this." It's a simple trick, but it works wonders. Another thing that helps: gratitude. I know it sounds cliche, but hear me out. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to focus on what's wrong. But if you take a moment to think about what's still good in your life, it shifts your perspective. Maybe it's your health, your family, or even the fact that you woke up this morning. Gratitude reminds you that even in the darkest times, there's still light. And let's talk about action. When you're stuck in a tough spot, it's easy to feel paralyzed. But any action breaks that cycle. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to move you forward. Even if it's a small step, it's progress. And progress, no matter how tiny, feels momentum. Here's another tip: don't go it alone. We're not meant to face life's challenges by ourselves. Reach out to someone you trust. Talk about what you're going through. Sometimes just saying it out loud can make a world of difference. And who knows, they might have a fresh perspective or some advice that helps you see things differently. And while we're on the topic of support, let's not forget about professional help. There's no shame in seeking guidance from a therapist, coach, or mentor. These people are trained to help you navigate tough times. They can give you tools and strategies that you might not have thought of on your own. Now let's talk about resilience. Resilience isn't something you're born with, it's something you build. And how do you build it? By facing challenges head on. Every time you overcome something difficult, you become a little stronger, a little wiser, and a little more prepared for whatever comes next. Think of it like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. So don't shy away from challenges. Embrace them. They're here to make you better. And here's something else to keep in mind. Failure is the end. It's just feedback. When something doesn't go as planned, it's not a sign that you're not good enough. It's just a sign that you need to try a different approach. Thomas Edison did fail 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. He just found 1,000 ways that did work. So, don't be afraid to fail. Failure is just part of the process. What matters is that you keep going. And speaking of keeping going, let's talk about patience. In today's fast-paced world, we want everything right now. But real growth takes time. It's like planting a tree. You can't rush it. You just have to water it, give it sunlight, and wait. The same goes for your goals. You might not see results right away, but that doesn't mean nothing's happening. Behind the scenes, things are shifting. You're learning, growing, and getting stronger. So be patient with yourself. Trust the process. And while you're waiting, don't forget to celebrate the small wins. Did you get out of bed today? When? Did you take a step toward your goal? When? Did you handle a tough situation better than you would have last year? When? Celebrating these little victories keeps you motivated. It reminds you that you're making progress, even if it doesn't feel like it. Now let's talk about perspective. When you're in the middle of a tough time, it's easy to feel like it's the end of the world. But if you zoom out, you'll see that it's just a chapter in your story. And every great story has ups and downs. Think about it. If everything was easy, life would be pretty boring, wouldn't it? It's the challenges that make the victories so sweet. So, when you're going through a rough patch, remind yourself that this is just part of your journey. It's not the destination. And here's another way to shift your perspective. Focus on what you can control. There's so much in life that's out of our hands. But there's also a lot that we can influence. Your attitude, your effort, your choices, these are all within your control. So instead of worrying about what you can't change, focus on what you can. It's empowering. It gives you a sense of agency. And it helps you feel less overwhelmed. And let's not forget about self-care. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to neglect yourself. But that's when you need self-care the most. Self-care isn't selfish. It's necessary. It's like putting on your oxygen mask before helping others. You can't pour from an empty cup. So take care of yourself. Eat well. Sleep well. Know your body. Do things that bring you joy. And don't underestimate the power of rest. Sometimes the best thing you can do is take a break. It's not giving up. It's recharging. When you come back, you'll have more energy and clarity to tackle whatever's in front of you. Now let's talk about faith. And not talking about religion unless that's your thing. And talking about faith in yourself, in the process, and in the idea that things will get better. Faith is like a safety net. It catches you when you fall. It reminds you that even when things seem hopeless, there's always a way forward. And here's the thing about faith, it's a choice. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just have to believe that the steps are there. So choose faith, Choose to believe that better days are ahead. Choose to trust that you have what it takes to get through this. And finally, let's talk about purpose. When you're going through a tough time, it's easy to lose sight of why you're doing what you're doing. But purpose is your anchor. It keeps you grounded. So reconnect with your why. Why are you fighting? What's important to you? What do you want your life to stand for? When you have a strong sense of purpose, it gives you the strength to keep going, even when things get hard. It reminds you that your struggles are part of something bigger. And here's the beautiful thing: your struggles can become your strength. They can shape you into someone who's more compassionate, more resilient, and more determined to make a difference. So don't waste your pain. Use it. Let it fuel you. Let it inspire you to create something meaningful. Because at the end of the day, life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about rising above them. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. And you've got what it takes. You're stronger than you think. You're braver than you feel. And you're more capable than you realize. So keep going. Keep fighting. And don't you dare give up. Because tough times don't last. Tough people do. And you're one of the toughest people I know. At the end of the day, life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about rising above them. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. Remember, tough times don't last, but tough people do. You've got what it takes to not only survive, but thrive. So keep going, keep growing, and never forget you're stronger than you think, braver than you feel, and more capable than you realize. The best is yet to come.